the bunny back in the box.
Starring, amongst others, Melissa McCarthy, Molly Gordon, Gillian Jacobs and Maya Rudolph. Directed by Ben Falcone off a script that he co-wrote with Melissa McCarthy. This is my review for Life of the Party.
Frank!
No, don't tell Frank.
Deanna just had sex in a public place.
Where?
In the stacks.
In her slacks?
No, shut up, Frank.
Get ready for the wildlife.
Life of the Party is the story of Deanna, who also goes by the name D-Rock, played by Melissa McCarthy, who finds that her life has been turned upside down. Her husband has out of the blue announced that he wants a divorce. He's found somebody else. He wants to move on as quickly as possible, and she finds herself not knowing what to do with herself. She takes a look back on where she is now and realises her biggest regret is not finishing her final year at college in archaeology. So she decides to go back, but it's the same college that her daughter is going to, who is also in her final year. I wasn't sure what to make of Life of the Party going into it. I found Melissa McCarthy to be very, very irritating a lot of the times. A lot of the films I've seen her in, I think she tries to link being loud to being funny, and I don't think that always works. But I watched Gilmore Girls, and I watched all 7 and a bit seasons of that in a space of, I think, 2 months. It was a lot of Gilmore Girls. And it made me like her a lot more as a performer. So I'm more open to watching movies with her in now. In this film, she treads the line very, very finely between being a nice character and being quite annoying. And it is very, very fine. Like, in the same scene, she can go from one to the other, and it makes her a bit of a difficult character to root for at times. It would have been a lot better if this movie had focused in on what should have been the main plot point of this film, in that she's at the same college as her daughter. In a comedy, that could have been done brilliantly, having the two of them kind of butting heads a little bit and just sort of riling each other up. But instead, it more feels that her daughter going to the same college as her is just happenstance. Like, it's just a factor of the movie. It's not the main point. And I feel like that's a bit of a missed opportunity, because if you took the daughter out of this, you wouldn't lose much, really, at all from the whole college side of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some nice moments between the two of them. It's a really nice mother-daughter relationship, and it's sweet. And I guess it's good that it didn't go down the predictable route of having them become antagonists to each other. But it just leaves it a bit hollow. Like, there isn't a lot more to it. Melissa McCarthy's character, Deanna, she doesn't really go through much in this film. I mean, yeah, it starts off with a pretty big life-altering moment for her, but when she goes to college, there's not a lot for her to overcome. She's just there, and it goes pretty well, really. There's 2 characters in this one, 2 side characters who are bullies, who take issue with the fact that there's a mum at this college. But that's really, from what I remember, the only problems that she really has. There's one that's introduced late on that's there purely seemingly just to give a cause for these characters to come together, but that feels incredibly manufactured. I don't know, it just feels like a huge missed opportunity to not focus on the things that this movie should have focused on to make it successful. It doesn't help matters too that this is so low on laughs. Like, there's not a lot of funny moments in there. There's 2 scenes in particular, one involving a restaurant and one involving a wedding. Those 2 scenes are the only ones that made me laugh hard in this. There's other moments that made me smile. They were mainly Maya Rudolph, who is this movie's MVP. Every scene that she's in, she brings value to it. She should have been in it a lot more, to be honest, because she sort of gets it. She knows how to be funny. She knows how to deliver lines and how to make just mundane situations that much better just by having the talent that Maya Rudolph has. And that restaurant scene that I just mentioned is made 20 times funnier just by having her in it. The rest of it just falls a little bit flat. It's not a bad film, in any sense of the word. Like, it's fine, but it coasts along a little bit. It doesn't feel like it has enough jokes. The jokes that are in there, for the most part, feel a bit forced. They don't feel like natural jokes, and that's summed up, I think, quite well with the characters, because a lot of the characters in here don't feel like genuine people. Melissa McCarthy does, her daughter's character does, those 2 do, but there's a lot of weirdness in here just for the sake of weirdness. I mean, take the husband, the husband who divorces Deanna. He doesn't come across as a regular bloke at all. He comes across as a bit of a dick, which is fine, but not a believable one. He doesn't act with any any sense of emotion, really. He just does what he wants to do, and it just comes across as very, very fake. You have a character here who has got a massive social media following because she was in a coma for 8 years. Why? I don't understand why she's in there. You have a character who's a complete social recluse, and she's very, very weird, and she just shuts herself in all the time. But, again, why? It seems like Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone, who wrote this as well, just thought, let's have weird characters in here and make comedy out of the fact that they're a bit weird. But it doesn't work. The best I can say, really, about Life of the Party is that it's a relatively sweet film. Like, it has a nice message-ish sort of at the heart of it, and it's the mother and daughter relationship that, in the end, is the most heartwarming bit about it. As I said, it's a completely different way to the way I want them to do it. I think if these two characters were clashing, it would make a far more interesting film. But instead, it's less of a funny one and more of just, yeah, this is nice enough. And it almost feels a bit haphazardly slapped together as well. There's a lot of things here that don't go anywhere. Deanna gets a love interest that's played mainly for laughs, but that doesn't have any real resolution to it. It almost feels like it's just left in the middle. There's also a professor where it seemed like there was something that could have been happening between these two, but it goes absolutely nowhere at all, which makes their interactions pointless. And the least said about the way this one wraps up, the better. I won't give it away because it is a spoiler, what happens at the end of this film, but it feels really silly, and not in a good way. It's a scene involving a party and somebody they get at this party, and I wasn't overly invested in what was going on anyway, but if something was going to take me out of it, it's what they did here. It was just lazily done and sloppy, really. It was a very sloppy movie in general. I'm going to give Life of the Party a 5 out of 10. This isn't a bad film. It's one of those that if it's on, like, you can watch it. It's nice enough, but it won't leave any kind of lasting impact on you. It's not one of those where you're really going to remember the jokes after you've left. It's, for me at least, I watched it and then pretty much forgot about it straight afterwards. Have you seen Life of the Party? If so, let me know what you think in the comments. As I say, I've only just started to actually like Melissa McCarthy, so what other films of hers should I maybe give another try? What's her best film? Tell me and I'll watch it. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe P. Julians. You can follow me on Stardust for the time being, at least, at Joe Julians. If you want to hit like, that would be great. If you want to hit subscribe too, that would be even greater. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.